What's up? Lucky Lefty Podcast. The Onora boys are definitely in the building. I'm your boy Shaun Davis. That dude, the original Lucky Lefty himself, Malik Zaire. We're brought to you by Onora Whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. It is that premium American whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. And if you're going to drink, by all means, make sure that you do so
responsibly.
Got to do it responsibly. Left, practice one is in the books for spring. We'll talk about Marcus Freeman and what he had to say about today's practice and some things in the offseason. I have some exciting things. Left. I was sending them pictures and, we're joking about things, but there's certain things that I saw left that I think are going to make you and Fighting Irish fans really happy. Really, really happy. And then we'll talk about Michael Mayer seemingly settling in these mock drafts, sort of on the rise. Maybe as people are stopping the process of overthinking and just going with the production and what he's put on film. And will Isaiah Foskey land in the first round? We'll talk about that. It's a pretty cool day, Left. Pretty cool day. Different, to say the least. That 7:35 a.m. start, bro. East, because I'm coming from Central, driving to the Eastern time zone. So I think I hopped on the E-way at like 5 in the morning. And you get there and it was cool. I was shocked that there were recruits there that early.
That's right.
I was like, okay. I expected recruits to be there this weekend, but there are a couple of recruits there as well today. But you walk up, man, everything's lit. The campus is still dark because the sunrise hasn't happened yet. And you pull up, and the only building that's lit is that football building. You start feeling it.
Is it the indoor that y'all went to?
Yeah, we went to the indoor.
That's a nice building.
So you start feeling the vibe, like, okay, this is the only thing lit on the campus. No one really was out. Students weren't out. And you walk in, and it's like everybody's just buzzing. It was definitely a buzz in the building surrounding this spring. And Apple Podcasts, let me do this. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, CFB Nation in conjunction with Irish Breakdown. All of our great content. Leave 5 stars, leave your comments. Lucky Lefty Podcast, we spin it different. No Lucky Lefty question of the day. You guys ask any question you want to ask about spring practice or anything that I might have seen or anything you might know. Just make sure you put QOTD for question of the day. I'll make sure we get to it. Left. The quarterbacks are different, bro. That's the first thing I noticed off the bat. Quarterbacks are different. Quarterbacks are different.
As you would expect.
Yeah.
Now
I will say this. We did not go ahead.
You're right. It should be different because there's no more excuses for that room. So I'm glad that you saw something different the first day because we knew it wasn't going to be the same after Drew Pine left this last year. So I'm glad it looks like how we assumed it should be if we want other things to start activating as well.
If you had me today to rank the throwers of the ball in the quarterback room, just today, practice one, it's really one could be debatable because beauty can be in the eye of the beholder, right? I could see someone saying Hartman won. After watching today, I could see someone saying Tyler number one. Tyler threw some beautiful balls, some beautiful deep balls today, bro. Now, of course, it's just drills.
Yeah.
We didn't get to watch the scrimmage. Tyler threw some beautiful balls. His arm is much stronger. You can see You can see he's starting to believe. It's not about us. It's not about anybody else. You can see he's starting to believe in himself. Sam Hartman is Sam Hartman. Sam Hartman has
Yeah.
beautiful ball.
Sam Hartman's like the rabbit. He's the
Yes.
rabbit in the race. He just set the pace.
Yo, beautiful ball placement. They were throwing out routes to the boundary, timing, just beautiful ball placement. Steve Angeli might have the biggest arm. Ball placement every now and then is, but he might have the biggest arm out of the group right now.
Well, you know, Steve's 6'4" or something. He's pretty big, isn't he?
Yeah.
See,
yeah.
He ain't no little guy.
Yeah. And then, people, let me tell you something. That cat 8 is smooth, bro. Hey, just his demeanor left. There's something about his demeanor, bro.
You said like Aiden?
I said number 8.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Number 8 was back in the red jerseys, boy.
Yeah. I know it looked good on the little clip I saw. It made it look a little effortless. Like he out there just in the park. Just passing around.
Everything about him is just cool. The release, the throw, everything's easy. You can tell his arm is going to get stronger as he, as he grows. But man, his game is just easy. It's just easy. And I love it. I love it. So the floor of the quarterback room has definitely been raised. And I would
That's right.
Put Hartman and Buckner 1A and 1B. And then I would put Minchie, dude. Accurate, just smooth. Might not have arms strength right now, similar to Angeli and some of the other veterans. But he's just smooth, man. He's just smooth.
That's right.
There's just something about him.
I like that order.
When you watch him throw the ball, it's just something about him, man. He's just smooth. And I'm not the only one that mentioned this today. He's just really smooth when you watch him go through the reps. And the benefit, we'll get to this because Marcus Freeman talked about it. You were right, Left. In the practices last year, Tommy Reese would coach the quarterbacks in drills, and then when they went to the scrimmage, he would call the plays, and then he would say something to the quarterbacks, after the play. But he had to immediately then go back to
you doing your
script.
job.
You doing your job.
You got
See, this year, Jared Parker can say something to the quarterback after the play.
Do his job.
Right, and go do his job, and then Gino is
just talking through it. Just talking through it. Answering questions, comments. He's throwing his 2-piece in there. He trying to see if guys is comfortable, if they know what's going on. When it's just a one-way, it's just a blah, 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 blah. All right. I disappeared for 5-10 minutes till you go again,
Yeah.
Now you stuck talking to your teammates, you in and out of paying attention, you know what I mean? So having that constant voice is a real calming effect that you give your quarterbacks, especially if let's say you don't do good on your last play.
Mm-hmm.
You're in rotation. Now you on the sideline with a million thoughts in your head. And your OC / quarterback coach calling the next round, you can't even get your questions. You know what I'm saying? So having a quarterback coach, I'm glad that it's already showing improvement.
Yeah.
But also it's exciting to see the roster, in your opinion, on a first day, similar to kind of the things we talked about earlier on how the order should be going down going into it.
And I think because of that, and Marcus Freeman talked about that a little bit when he met with the media, and we'll get to it. And one of the things he mentioned is just when he looked at things he wanted to improve, he just wanted to improve drills that would increase the tempo and increase the competition. And we saw that because they have 5 quarterbacks in camp. And Gino Guidugli, this is what I love about Gino Guidugli. Even when I watch his practice clip from Cincinnati, Gino is so vibrant. Gino does the drills, bro. Like He's doing the drills with the quarterbacks. Like whatever drill they do, he's right there, dude. Right? So they had this one drill where, it's 5 quarterbacks, so he's the 6th, and they're standing about 20 yards from each other, and they're throwing the ball to each other, getting loose, going through some other things. But then they went into this drill with the running backs, and they were practicing RPOs. So you can already, that was the first thing they practiced, the RPO. And last year, they would practice RPO, and Tommy was pretty much focused on the throw, right? So they hand the ball off to the running back, and then a GA will hike a ball to them after they hand the ball off, and then they have to complete an out route to the boundary of the field, right? So it gives them the effect of the pull and giving at the same time. It's a nice little drill. Well, last year, Tommy would be focused on the pass, and Dylan McCullough will be focused on the running backs and their footwork and making sure they get secure the ball and everything. And that was the same thing. So Jared Parker's there. He's looking. Dylan McCullough is there. But, Gino is like right there coaching on, no, you got to do this. Make sure you do this. Make sure the exchange is like this. Make sure you carry out the fake like this. Just the fundamentals. And that's the stuff you talked about, Left, that I think, in my opinion, was missing for the quarterbacks in their development in Notre Dame. And it's not so much during practice. You talked about this. It's more important Monday through Thursday for these young men to have Gino Guidugli to go talk to.
100%. It's a build-up process. It's a thing where Notre Dame is a lot like being a baker. You have to work on layering throughout the week, on building information and building your case and building your recipe one step at a time. And you can't really skip processes and steps in making your cake, in building your game plan going into the week, because it can't be an overdrive where you're doing too much to process, and it can't be underwhelming where you're not getting the specific things needed in clutch moments in the game. And I think what I've noticed in having a quarterback coach when I was in school, especially at Florida, was the fact that I got to build my personal game plan going into a game with my quarterback coach, as opposed to the game plan going into the game with the team. Like, a quarterback needs to have his own utility belt going into the game of different thoughts that you have in situations, different plays you like against different looks, different checks, certain players on certain downs that you want to go after, mismatches that you want to notice, run checks that you want to have, things that you can't all fit on a game plan you're trying to show to the 11 guys on offense, but things that you build with your quarterback coach on Monday. You work on, we're going to watch third down tape. Tuesday, we watch blitz tape. Wednesday, we do red zone. And so you're building notes as the day is going on with your quarterback coach. QB, as an OC, you just getting the plays for the week. All right, guys, we're liking this set of plays for these looks and these reads, and this is what we're rolling with. We got to rep it all week. Quarterback coaches, okay, we got these plays now. This is what the QC is thinking, or the OC is thinking on third down. These 2 plays for these looks that we're expecting. Let's get into what the defensive coordinator is really trying to do. Thursday, perfect example of a QB coach. Thursday, you're working on the 2-minute drill. And what's important about watching film on that is, you, from a quarterback coach, you're going to know, okay, what is the defensive coordinator's favorite plays to call in a 2-minute drill, because usually those are your safest calls when you're moving fast. Offensive coordinator, a 2-minute drill, you're working offensively. Okay, these are the plays you want to hit. As a quarterback coach, you're saying this is what the defense wants to do during the 2 minutes. So it's a different perspective of, building into the week on getting ready, and that also builds confidence. I think a lot of the times when Tyler got in trouble, it was due to not having those side conversations you would get from a quarterback coach that he would understand in the moment. Looking at it from a fan perspective and just as a teammate, even, you're like, what are you doing? Like, why would you? But as a quarterback coach, he can explain, talk through it, give you advice on what to look for specifically, instead of saying, oh, we're going to read the play. A quarterback coach would be like, okay, put your eyes on this specific player. If he moves left, you go right. If he goes right, you go left. Instead of saying, oh, how did you not see the safety roll down and the corner play over the top and the linebacker come? It's too much, So I think you're going to see a better and more polished Tyler faster now that we have a quarterback coach, which I think would be great if this was the case without Sam, because this would be a perfect roll-in situation for Tyler Buckner to get comfortable with two guys that are like his guys that know he's the starter, instead of the competition thing. And then Kenny would look even better as a day one guy in the backup role, as opposed to, man, if he just could get more reps, but he can't because of the chart, the depth chart's so thick that he's flashing. So this is good to see.
It's definitely good to see, bro. And you have to love it, right? As I said before, this is the spring practice report. Day one is in the books. The media, we were allowed to watch mostly warm-ups, special teams, drills, and then the quarterbacks throwing shells, things of that nature. And then once they went to full scrimmage, live scrimmage, they kind of like hit the whistle and kicked us out. Like, all right, time to go. So hopefully Saturday will be the first scrimmage part. We'll be able to watch with all the big time. You would think they would want to open it up with all the big time recruits coming in. That's the way it was last year. They had a big recruiting weekend. It was the day after the pro day, and they allowed us to see the full scrimmage. So what we're working off here is just what we were able to see. As I said before, that's also want to ask about the offensive line. We did not get to see offensive line units come out as far as the scrimmage. We did see them drill. They drilled 2-on-2. Well, in twos, 1-on-1 power drive blocking was the focus. And then it got 2 second level blocking. I saw Joe Rudolph over in the corner, very animated, not as loud as Harry Houston, but definitely very animated and definitely coaching just as hard. And Joe Alt is the leader. It's easy. He's the dude. He's the dude. They even put out a video when they first arrived and came into the building. He was the one that was leading the group. And when you watch them move through their drills, it's him and Blake Fisher. They're the leaders. And I will put Zeke Carrell right there as well. Those three, when they finally did go to the three guys working together, it was Alt, Fisher, and Zeke Carrell.
Yeah, so, and those are the leaders you want. I want Blake Fisher and Joe Alt and Zeke Carrell to be still holding it down, holding the fort down, keeping the culture strong in the offensive line, because that's what you need is leadership in a position like that when you're such a group think. How the offensive line is, you need those guys that know what's going on to be aggressive about what's going on and get guys on board and be like, all right, we back in the swing of things. That's the great part of having veteran old linemen is that, all right, we don't have to take days off. We know what to do.
No,
and get on point.
Yeah,
which is good for Joe Rudolph because he's like, man, I just gotta go in there and
hit the ground running, right? He can pretty much say, man, let me really focus on the recruiting class because
I could just press play and y'all get to it, and I might throw my 1 or 2 comments in, but that's what you want as a coach.
But Left, what do you always say? The best teams are player driven. You say that all the time, Left. The best teams are player driven.
And that's why the offensive line stays consistent year to year. That unit is a player driven unit. Quarterback, we're doing some surgery work. We done brought in another doctor for reference. We patching things up, but it's looking good. It's got life in it. But the O-line is a self-automated AI machine. They one of those Amazon warehouses. They're just putting the boxes on the machine, letting that thing roll.
Man, let me tell you something. That's a lot to get to, Left. That's a lot to get to. I don't even know if we're gonna get to the defense today. We're still on the offense, right? And we haven't even brought up Marcus Freeman and the things he had to say in the press conference. Lucky Lefty Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube channel. Subscribe, smash that like button, and hit the notification bell so every time we post something or we go live, you will know. All of our podcasts, CFB Nation in conjunction with Irish Breakdown, leave 5 stars, leave your comments. We respond to all. It's the Lucky Lefty Podcast, home of the misguided passion. You already know we spin it different. It was good to see the crew too. Spoke to my boy Levon Whitaker. Saw B Drisk in the house. Man, first time meeting Shaun Stiers face to face. That was a pleasure. And look forward to chopping it up with him at the pro day, and some of the other guys. On the beat, Eric Hansen I always tip my hat to the legend every time I see him. And all the other guys. It was just good, man. You felt like, okay, like I know we still have to wait 4 or 5 months, but like I feel like, man, I'm on the roller coaster and they strapped me in.
That's right.
They haven't started the ride yet, but I'm in my seat and I'm strapped in and I'm ready to go. That was the feeling you get going to that first practice today. So we'll get to some of these questions too before we get to Marcus Freeman level. So that should make you happy. Let me tell you something else. I don't know if it was Gino Gaduli. I don't know if it's Jared Parker. But they have this drill, because I told you about the RPO drill, and it was not a slow mesh drill. No, it was not a slow mesh drill. It was your normal RPO drill, which leads you to believe that that's going to be part of the offense. And the next drill was the one I was like, boy, Left would love this, boy. Left would love this drill. So basically, they came out. It was a quarterback wide receiver drill, 11 personnel, right? So that means 3 wides, 1 tight end. The first group that came out, Holden States was the tight end. You had Deion Colsey on the outside. You had Tobias Merriweather on the other side. And you had Jaden Thomas in the slot. Now, I'm not saying those are the starters.
That's a nice little group.
I'm just saying that was the first group of receivers.
Wait, Styles wasn't in there?
No, they had Styles working the boundary on the second group.
Receiver.
They had him working the boundary in the single set.
Tobias.
So he was behind Deion.
Oh, okay. On that. Okay.
No, you're right. He was behind Tobias.
Okay.
He was behind Tobias because they had Tobias in the boundary today.
And they had Colsey in the field. ATS slot and Deion at the X.
Yes.
So Deion Colsey must be trying to make some.
This is what Deion Colsey. Hey, Deion Colsey changed his number. That dude is 0 now.
Oh, okay.
He's 0 now, Left. Okay. He changed his number, new attitude. He was leading the drills and the stretches for the wide receivers. Has a new attitude. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of surprising.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the scrimmage now. Like, okay, let's see what you got. So he changed to 0 from 16. Defensively, Xavier Watts changed from 26 to 0. Chris Tyree.
So hold on. So no Caleb Smith in the first group.
Caleb Smith was in the second group with your boy Zoe.
Zoe. Okay, so Zoe, Caleb Smith, and then any freshmen in the second group? No,
all the freshmen were third group, mixed in with the second group every now and then.
Okay.
And people. Yes. 19 is a dude. Yes.
That's
Jaden Greathouse.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that based upon anything I saw from a scrimmage. It's viral already. He had a catch in warm-ups. Chancey overthrew it. This dude jumped, snagged, turned his body. He's that dude.
Yeah.
He's that dude. You can watch Left. You tell me all the time, just watch cats move. And there are certain dudes that just move different.
Yeah.
Than everybody else. He moves different. You know who else I like, though? Who has a chance from a body type to be like an Njigba Smith? Rico. Rico has really big legs, bro.
Really?
Yeah, Rico got some sneaky big legs, bro. I think Rico might, if they work him
He's
in the
kind of
slot.
tall too, right?
Rico might be legit, like maybe 6'1.5", 6'2". I didn't see the official measurements. They gave us paperwork, but I was told the measurements weren't precise on the paper they gave us today.
Okay.
So I'll see if we get some updated ones this weekend. But Braylon, tall, on the thin side, they all need to gain weight. But it was like you could just tell the body type of Rico, once he adds weight, it's like, okay, he's gonna be a strong wide receiver. And Jaden is already darn near 200.
Yeah, he's huge. That's why
I think he's like 202 right now.
I thought Jaden would be the leader of the group doing the stretch, this, that, and the third.
For all the wide receivers?
I thought he was going to take the number one role this year. Him or Styles. But it's good to see Deion Colzie go in there and take command.
Well, I think they are giving him the chance.
Because, I mean, that's kind of coming out of left field, wouldn't you say?
See, if you remember last year, we talked about it on our post-game show for the Blue and Gold game. I told you about the interaction that Marcus Freeman had with Deion Colzie when he dropped that pass from Drew Pine early in the first quarter on a key third down. He walked straight up to him and said, yo, we need you this year. So the coaches have high expectations of him because they feel like he's a difference maker. And you saw when he came back from injury, Drew Pine immediately started connecting with him in games on third down. So he's obviously doing something in practices for people to have that level of confidence and expectation in him. So we'll see. But the drill, they come out in 11. Let me finish up the drill. They come out in 11, 3 wide receivers, the tight end, and all 4 quarterbacks get balls, and they're throwing the 4 different routes. Right? So the slot receiver, the tight end runs like an option stop route or an out route. The slot receiver runs a corner. And then the boundary receiver was running pretty much a straight fly. And then the field receiver was running an out. You know, so it was like all 4 quarterbacks were throwing. And then they would switch positions. So all 4 quarterbacks, all 5 quarterbacks, should I say, had an opportunity to throw each ball. So either you're throwing a seam route, throwing an out route from the inside, or a crossing route with the tight end.
Oh, that's the clip that all 4 of them was throwing.
Yeah.
Kenny looked pretty good in that one.
Yeah, like I told you, Kenny. No, I'm telling you, I was sitting next to B. Drisk, and it was just like, okay, just smooth, man, just smooth. Like, yeah, you see that strength is going to come, and he needs to add strength, arm strength, but just a smooth throw of the football. And Notre Dame's lucky to get him as late as they got him in the recruiting process. He's a quality quarterback. That's a quality quarterback to get that late in the process. That's like a double bonus when you add Sam Hartman coming in via the transfer portal. And like I said, to me, Tyler looked the best of the quarterback, the most confident of the quarterback.
Yeah, he should. It's Tyler's job to technically lose, right?
He should. You're right. You should, especially with most of, Gino Godubi.
Especially him teaching.
He's teaching the incoming coaches, getting them caught up on different looks. Same thing with Sam Hartman. And the cool thing is, Sam Hartman and Tyler, they were moving together. Like you saw them talking to each other, moving together. So it's like, it's cool. They're competing. They know they're competing, but it's like,
it ain't cool.
Well, it shouldn't be cool. But at least you see them talking together, throwing together, moving together. It's a unit. And I think that comes from having a quarterback coach. That quarterback coach will keep things copacetic.
Yeah.
Even with competition being in the midst. So I don't have a problem with that, right? Because Kenny is competing with Steve Angeli. Don't get it twisted.
Yes, 100%.
Kenny is like, okay, I might not be the top 2, but I'm jumping you.
I'm leaving here for something.
I'm definitely jumping you this year. That's the competition. And that's the way it should be. It absolutely should be that way. And you love it. You have to love it. Wide receivers look good, Left.
Against our DBs?
I just think the benefit of the floor of the quarterback room being raised is going to benefit the wide receivers during the spring. I just really believe that, Left. I really believe that. Like when you know you have good quarterbacks as a wide receiver group, it extends your confidence to want to go out and make plays. So it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be very interesting moving forward. Now, tight end, Kevin Bauman's out. Mitchell Evans, Holden States was number 1. Mitchell Evans was right behind him. The depth of the tight end room is questionable. Well, Eli Raridan, and I think Eli Raridan should be back for the fall, hopefully. And even if he gets back for the fall, I'm not sure if he starts the season. He might not really show up until like week 4 or 5, realistically. Bauman should be back. He's dealing with a knee. But it's the same thing. So that tight end situation, because 12 personnel was a formation that Notre Dame has loved previously under Tommy Rees. But with the lack of depth, that 11 personnel that we watched them go through might be, which would be, man, how would it be to see Notre Dame come out majority of the time in 3 wide receiver sets?
Don't give me hype. Don't give me hype. It would be refreshing, I think, if anything, to see that. Not that we don't love our tight ends, but we haven't been rolling with a look like that in a while.
Yeah.
On a consistent basis, we'll show it, say we can do it, but that being a threat in our offense is another thing.
We also have a change or an addition to the wide receiver room, Left. Chris Tyree was working with the wide receivers, bro.
Yeah, that's fair.
Wait a minute. This is so crazy. I don't know if you remember this, and I double-checked it when I got home. Do you remember the day after the Avery Davis? I went to fall practice. Avery Davis got hurt. We come back. We do a show. And you said, this is why you're left. You said we need to move Chris Tyree to wide receiver right now.
Oh, yeah.
You said it in that show.
Because
you said don't leave Xavier Watts alone. So they were thinking about moving Xavier Watts back to wide receiver. You said leave him alone. Move Chris Tyree to wide receiver right now. I wonder how beneficial it would have been if he had a full year to work at that position, where he would be right now.
Great replacement for Avery Davis. It would have been, and I think for him especially, it's important for Chris Tyree to be a slot receiver in this year's offense, because the running back room is just so much more versatile for what the run game could be in an effective level. And for Chris Tyree to be more effective, that slot position, that guy that's running the motions and the jet sweeps and the inside corner routes and the flies and the over routes, he could be way more dangerous in that aspect, because he's able to do more and have better mismatches than just the running back room and how it's cooked up right now. You got young guys that are ready to play that are a little bit bigger. You got your guys that are veterans that are a little bit stronger, a little bit more size to be running in between the tackles. So for Chris Tyree to transition, similar to how Avery Davis transitioned from quarterback to slot, Chris Tyree's transition from running back to slot will be more beneficial for him going into the draft this year, to show that not only can he be a third down back, but he can be an effective back like a Raheem Mostert in some cases, where he's not getting all the running back reps, but you might see him on the edge or on the slot position doing some things. So I think it would be a very smart and wise decision for Chris Tyree to have effectiveness as a slot receiver. And then you can still play some running back on some split back, put Aldrick and Chris Tyree back there, or Jadarian and Chris Tyree. I mean, you can really – running back room is deep. And I think he would get less carries if he stayed just a running back, just because I want to see the other guys run the ball too. And there's only one football, so he's making a smart move.
Jabron Payne looked good running the ball today.
Because
we're talking about number 4. He's like 4 for the depth chart. And I'm looking – B. Driskin and I are looking like, yo, okay.
Jabron Payne is nice now. He coming from Ohio, so them type of running backs –
of course. Here
just
we go.
Carrying a different type of weight to him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he ain't Aldrick, but he not Logan either.
No.
He's like a in between an Aldrick and a Logan, because he's not super duper fast, but he's fast on the field. You go, oh, he can kind of get to the second level quick.
Yeah.
You know, so that's a running back that I'm sure, you know, knock on wood, not everybody stays healthy and everything, but if he was to happen to come into a game, you'll be like, oh, we got him too. Okay, that's kind of nice.
Jadarian Price, you know, I'm ready to see Jadarian Price in action.
That's right.
Because he's recovered, and he is
game action.
All you have to do is take one look at how chiseled he is, and you know he's put in the work to get back from injury. That's a difficult injury. It's not a question of whether or not it's just a question of whether or not
they took one look at Jadarian Price and moved Chris Tyree to receiver.
Bro, that cat Jadarian Price. Hey, man, you might as well put a cape on that dude with some spandex and just call him a superhero. He
looks the part. That's what I'm saying. He looks so much like the number 1 running back. Like, oh, man, he looked the part.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because we got Aldrick, you know?
Yeah. Lucky Lefty podcast. So the running back room and offensive line, strong, right? But I just really want to talk about Jared Parker, right? Left, and this is just me hypothesizing from what I saw in an hour and 5 minutes, right? They're not about to sit around and do the same thing, even though they're going to be working within the framework of the same offense. That's the impression I get.
Different strategy, same
framework and structure,
but different strategy. Like, you got a sink that you using the left side the whole time, but now you just use the right side.
Is this a farmhouse sink? I love farmhouse sinks too. That's just my preference. It's got to be a farmhouse sink. I like the farmhouse sinks left.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm an appliance snob.
Appliance snob, good.
I'm an appliance snob.
Such a thing.
Man, are you crazy? I will walk through Home Depot looking at refrigerators for like 2 hours, bro. Are you kidding?
All right, so what's the most important appliance in the kitchen?
The most important?
Like the number 1 thing you gotta have.
That depends. Like me and my wife debate this all the time. All the time.
I think a knife set is very important.
For me, it's the stove.
Really?
Yes. For me, it's the stove. Right.
I don't like the ones that heat up. I gotta see the fire come out of it.
The missus loves the dishwashers, dude.
Oh, y'all not hitting the.
She's like, no. She has to have like the different stages. You have to be able to have stackability on different levels.
She's dropping the Tide Pods in.
Top of the top. It's kind of like refrigerator. No, refrigerator is really 1 for the missus. Then I'll probably say dishwasher. For me, you know, I don't like the electric stove.
No.
I'm an old school dude. I'm an old school dude now. Yes, if you get the combo, especially some of those antique French-made stoves, the cordon joints. I'm with that. So, back to Notre Dame cooking with grease, since we're talking appliances right here on the Lucky Lefty podcast. Notre Dame offensively really is cooking with grease. And I totally agree with everyone that feels the expectation of this offense being more explosive. You should feel that way. You should absolutely feel that way.
Just sticking to our appliance references, all we need the receivers to do is be that Japanese knife set. You know what I'm saying? We was working with butter knives last year. We need to be that Wagyu cutter. You need a different type of knife for that Wagyu. So we need to be the Japanese knife set at receiver. Yeah. We got the cast iron.
Okay.
For the quarterback. Now we can cook. You know what I'm saying? We got
now you can't have a dope stove and have terrible skillets.
Yeah. We see last year we was using the what they say, the stainless steel.
Yeah.
Non-stick. No.
Yeah. You can't do it. If you don't have that cast iron skillet, you can't make cornbread. That's strictly for cornbread. That's strictly for cornbread. You gotta have the right materials, man. You gotta have the right materials to cook everything right in the kitchen, baby. Jared Parker, you got the right materials. Jared Parker has the right materials, bro.
Yeah, they gave you the Master Chef appliances.
See, Sam Hartman might be the corn and stone skillets. You know what I'm saying? The ones when you cook and you just wipe them.
It's all in one.
Just rinse them out all at once, real smooth. Yeah. But that meal needs an accompaniment of cornbread. That's Tyler. Tyler's that cornbread. Get you the tough yards.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Bring them in situations. That cornbread is important.
It's important. Because you got the refrigerator. You always gonna keep cool with that big refrigerator up front. We got the one with the TV on the front. When you touch
you can order from Amazon Fresh, tells you the weather and traffic, everything. Absolutely.
That refrigerator gonna be right. Jared Parker sitting in the 5-star kitchen right now. You cannot burn up the food this time. Ain't no way.
Oh man, but no, I do see that. And I think they're aware of the roster situation, especially. So what you're going to see is their usage of the wide receivers during the spring.
Yes.
Because of the lack of depth at tight end. How does that play into the fall when they get some of the depth back in the tight end room? We never know. Right? But they want to run the ball. Right? And they might feel like, we still want to run the ball from 12 personnel. Once they get that depth back,
we can do that.
And if that happens,
and use it as a disruptor, don't use it as a base. We're using it as a base in our cooking. Like, make it like a roux.
Okay.
You spice your chicken up a little bit. You don't have chicken and rice is done in many different ways.
See, no one else in the Notre Dame landscape is explaining Notre Dame's offense like this. No one. I'm sorry. We spin it different.
12 personnel is our roux. We had to put a little butter in and then melt it down and do some, because then it makes the chicken. You be like, where you get this chicken from? This
with the right amount of flour. You got to have the right amount of flour.
And then you got to whisk it till it's burnt.
There you go. Tell them about it, Left. Tell them about it.
Because that's where 12 needs to come in on the offense. Because that's going to throw the teams off. The team's not thrown off when they prepare all week for heavy bulk. They're like, oh, yeah, let's toughen up. Let's do some drills, hitting the pad hard because we know we seeing 12.
Oh.
But if you got the roux for 12, they're like, oh, I didn't see this on the menu. Is this on the secret menu? It's going to change their whole perspective. They're like, oh, we always had it. See, that's the thing. We've always had it. We just used it at the wrong time. So it got mixed up with all the other flavors. We used to just make, stuff in the microwave. You know how you get the chips and you just melt down the cheese real quick.
Yeah.
But that don't make it nachos.
No, not at all.
You see what I'm saying? It don't
not
make it
at all.
So it's a different perspective.
Lucky Lefty podcast. We love the chat. We love the chat. They make it worse. Like they put the plug in our back. We go down the rabbit hole, and the chat is just like, "Yep, keep going every day right here, Lucky Lefty Podcast." Oh man, let's get to some of these questions. J. Carr, question of the day: what was the sophomore defensive line players looking like? Dude, I believe Tyson Ford changed his number from 98 to 95. Donovan Heinisch definitely is bigger. I noticed that. B. Driss, he mentioned it. Aiden Gabbard has always been someone we've been waiting for Aiden Gabbard to take off. And this dude right here was the first person that told you all last spring that Josh Burnham was a dude. And now physically, he was just small last year, Left. He was just small. He was coming off the edge. No one could touch him. He had a quick first step, but he couldn't just, as long as the offensive lineman could put a finger on him, he made his loop just far enough to whereas he couldn't get to the quarterback quick enough. Now he's strong enough to whereas he can hold his line and then counter inside as well. I look for Josh Burnham to definitely be someone that can raise havoc defensively. But they look good. Tyson Ford, I think the fire's lit for him. I think they have a
huge. I don't know. He's not killing it right now.
You know how you have some guys. Let me explain this, and maybe you have someone that you could comp. You're like, why haven't you popped yet?
Yeah.
Like, yo, what's going on? Like, dude, we see it.
Yeah, those be the worst ones, to be honest with you.
We see it, but come on, man.
Why the light not cutting on? You know, like you're supposed to be out there. You out there just something just not clicking with you. Like you don't know you 6'7" or something. Like you huge. But I think that's where coaching comes in.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes kids don't realize where they are athletically or from a mindset perspective. Maybe it's been super easy for him in high school, so he never really developed that one move he got. Every guy got a one move. He probably just been pushing kids over on the basic level. So, I mean,
he played most of his high school career on the outside.
Oh, okay. Well, see,
now he's playing inside, so
it's a different adjustment.
It's a different animal, man.
You gotta the whole success of being hand in the dirt is beating the other dude across. It's like not a lot of finesse that you can add.
Yeah.
So he probably like, man, I'm kind of pigeonholed. I'm over here lifting weights all practice. I'm not.
Feels like he's caged. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You're like, man, good. Maybe Isaiah Fauci. Let me drop in the coverage. But I think that's a coaching thing. Like, absolutely. Like, man, some guys, we got a guy on our team that the coaching staff loves him at DN, but I'm like, that's an outside linebacker. He's a 6'6" guy. Let him play in space because when he's wrong, he's right because he's long. That's way more to deal with than just having a guy rushing off the edge because he's big,
Yeah, that's a good point. Jay Carr, question of the day. Who were the guards that lined up with the ones? Like I said, I didn't. I can't speak. Maybe someone else stuck around and was peeking through the windows. But
they don't really give y'all too much, unfortunately.
We usually get like two or three full practices out of the 15. Others are like what we saw today, right? Hour, 5 minutes, drills, special teams, shells, 7-on-7, competitive stuff like that. Which is cool because you're still able to see certain things in that, especially with the youngsters, but not so much like offensive line against defensive line. Who's winning the battle? Who's the first unit to come? First five to come out? Things of that nature. Like I said, maybe somebody else saw something. I know once the horn went off, I packed my bag. I packed my bag because I had to get on the road to get back here to make sure we were able to do the show.
Yeah.
But I did see Billy Schroff. Definitely was working with Zeke Carell and oh man, my mind is blowing the casket right now.
That was good. There's a lot of notes to take.
Christophic.
Yeah,
Christophic and Billy Schroff. Sebastian Emery. Question of the day. Freeman stated in a press conference there as a walk-on player. Who was that and what position did he rep? I'm assuming, because like I said, I didn't see the majority of the press conference. I caught bits of it as I drove back. That is the 5th quarterback, Ron Powless, medical retirement today, along with Justin Walters.
Wait, medical retirement?
Yeah, medical retirement.
From what?
From football.
No, I'm saying what?
They didn't go any further. Left Justin Walters also medically retired, and Will Schweitzer medically retired. That was announced today.
Hey, trust these.
Philip Riley, Caleb Johnson, offensive lineman, and place kicker Joshua Bryant are no longer with the football team. Philip Riley was a junior cornerback. Someone in the chat asked, why didn't it work with Philip Riley, Benjamin Morrison, and Jaden Mickey, and Christian Gray? I mean,
Philip Riley left?
He's no longer with the team.
But that doesn't mean he transferred, or is
they did not use the word transfer officially. I'm not sure they can hop in the portal until after spring practice officially. I have to double check that because I believe the portal closed after being open, and then I think it opens back up after spring practice, if I'm not mistaken. It's open right now for basketball, though. I do know that.
Yeah, Philip Riley is one of them spots where it's like, miss your window, man. So it's like purgatory for a football player. It's hard to be in, man.
But it's the perfect situation to hang around for 3 years, get close enough to that degree to where you can make the decision to leave and still keep that degree intact.
Yeah, it just sucks.
I mean, it does.
It gets you locked in. You pass that threshold of that 2.5, 3 years. They're gonna be knocking on your door like, Mr. Zaire, you you almost done, right? You like, word?
Yeah. And the walk-on quarterback, his name is not on the official roster yet. And maybe B Drisk will post it on the IB message board later. Question of the day from Tyler Eric. Hope I pronounced your name correctly. If I did not, I apologize. Any wide receiver stand out to you on day one, either returners or incumbent freshmen? I think we talked about Deion Colzie, right? The attitude and expectation. Jaden, he pointed out Jaden Greathouse. And we also talked about, the body type. Once he adds weight, I'm very interested in seeing how Rico Flores plays out because I really think he could be in that mold of Jackson Smith and Jigba. I really do. So
he's starting as a sophomore?
Who, Rico?
Yeah.
I'm not about to speak to how long it's going to take him to get there. I'm just saying body type with that, thick legs, thick bottom, strong route runner, explosive. I can see him being that type of receiver. Now, how long it takes him to get there, that's up to him. But I was just looking at his frame today like, oh, man, his frame is thicker than I thought.
Right.
Like he's going to end up being a thicker kid than I thought. You can look at Braylon James and see that he has pretty much a similar body type as Tobias Merriweather. They're going to be thinner guys.
Yeah.
Tobias, Dion, they're going to be thinner
They're
guys.
like,
Even though Dion has definitely put on weight.
They're like EQ and Miles Boykin size type.
Yeah. But Notre Dame has the ability with the wide receiver room to go 6'3", 6'4", 6'3", across the board with multiple players if they put them out there. And that's pretty dangerous. What was the D-line looking like? I only saw the D-line in drills. So it's really not too much I can say about the D-line or the defense from the drills they ran, right? Linebackers, they went through their drills, staying low, shuffling. And we both said this. We were watching the drills, and I turned to B. Drisk and I said, JD should have the best year of his career. Like, this should be JD Bertrand's breakout season. Like, there is no other excuse for it at this point. He should put on. He definitely should put on this year. I expect 100 tackles, and I expect him to be the leader of that defense, right? Prince Collie is just small, bro. I don't know if he can't gain weight. I don't know if it's his frame. He's just the smallest linebacker.
I had to put him at safety, maybe.
He's just the smallest, 210, man. He's just
210.
Yeah, the dude's like 210, maybe 215, maybe. He's just small, man. He's athletic. He makes plays when he gets in. I just don't know if he can go play to play.
Not gonna cut it.
45, 50 plays.
It's not gonna cut it.
Jaden Alsbury is smooth, bro. That's the one thing you can see from watching drills. Like, who moves a certain way, who moves this way. Jaden Alsbury is smooth. Drake Bowen is pretty smooth for his size. And I told people that. Like, you don't play shortstop in baseball. You don't play shortstop, third base in baseball without being agile at that size. I'm talking about a kid that is a running back, middle linebacker, shortstop, and stole like 25 bases on the year. Like, he's a pretty athletic, big athletic kid. So the linebacker position, man, definitely should take a step up. The linebacker position to me is the direct reflection of the wide receiver room, in my opinion.
The linebacker position is the reflection of the
wide receiver room.
Wide receiver room?
Yeah, because the wide receiver room, like the linebacker room, was lacking depth and talent. Yeah. Right? Yeah. That was the excuse. Depth and talent. Well, okay, cool. That's been solved. Now it's like, okay, where's the production? It's the same thing we're asking. There are no excuses. No excuses this year. Right? Nolan Ziegler, Jalen Sneed, they should be ready to roll. They should be ready to make an impact. Then you have another set of young linebackers behind them. Yeah, it's time for the linebackers to become a strength of the defense, without question, in 2023. Without question. I think they are the direct reflection of the wide receivers on the defensive side of the ball. And I don't know. Emil Wagner seems to have, I don't know what his official weight is. Emil Wagner. But he struggles to put on weight as well. Right? So how much can you blame that on the strength and conditioning coach?
Now, the strength and conditioning coach can only do so much.
He can only do so much.
It's an appreciation for where you at too. I went to school, man, we had free food, free resource. I mean, that I don't know for most kids. But that was like, yeah, I need stuff to take home. You know what I mean? So it's just, I don't know, it's just different times for stuff.
Yeah. So if you have any other questions of the day, make sure you put QOTD, and we'll get to those after the show. Marcus Freeman, or at the end of the show. Lucky Lefty Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, CNB Nation, in conjunction with Irish Breakdown. We spin it different. Marcus Freeman met with the media after the first day of practice. And coach, what did you exactly want, or what were you looking for after the first practice?
I don't want to see any injuries, and that takes preparation from our strength staff, and they've done an unbelievable job throughout the spring, the winter and the spring of getting our guys to a really a level that they can practice for. We had 18 or 19 periods a day and a lot of team reps, and did not have any injuries, anybody getting pulled. And so that's a credit to our strength staff and what they've done. Our medical staff have done a great job, and so we have to find ways to continue to practice at a high level, but also develop our depth, right, and be able to roll guys in there to get them really good reps. And so that's what I wanted to see today. I wanted to see good reps. I wanted to see guys staying off the ground, which we got to do a better job. But, it's a process to get into where we want to go. And that's what our guys got to understand. It's not going to be perfect on practice one, but we have to continue to find ways to watch the film, evaluate it. And as we put more schematic stuff in, we got to be able to perform it at a high level.
I guarantee you won't see that hoodie anywhere for sale. Did you see that hoodie? Left, did you see that hoodie? Did you see it? I guarantee you won't see it anywhere for sale.
Let's see it again. Let's see it again for the chat, because we give an exclusive.
Any injuries, and
that's a custom made one of one.
Look at that, bro. Look at that. Look, first of all,
that's a cool green.
That is a different green, bro. That green is perfect.
That's not your hat.
The design of the football with the leprechaun in the middle.
You know what it's the green of? Them throwback Joe Montana jerseys. That
You're right.
Green, that Jolly Rancher green, and
with
the gold trim.
Yes.
Make them like them no more, man.
And unfortunately, you will find them nowhere for sale. Guarantee you. You will find it nowhere for sale.
Shooting himself at the bottom line again.
Don't even go to the bookstore. Don't even ask. It's not for sale.
They be like, oh, that's that one of one Marcus Freeman line.
They could even market it as the Marcus Freeman line. Heck, make it couture for all I care.
Oh, you know what it is? They being good stewards, Shaun. They being good stewards.
That's bad. That sounds like bad business to me.
You can't give Marcus Freeman that. It wouldn't be good steward of you.
Come on, man. Well, can you imagine how many hoodies they could sell just based off press conferences every week, bro? Just press conferences.
They don't want no money, man.
Dude, they can literally put in the corner, here's the QR code to purchase Coach Freeman's hoodie. While people are watching the presser, I guarantee you sales will be off the chain.
Off chain.
Off the chain. Man, I guess Under Armour's like, hey, man, we're doing the bare minimum. Y'all about to leave us anyway. Oh, man.
Yeah, they'll give them the Lovey treatment, man. Lose the first pick.
Coach Freeman, we talked to Howard Griffith yesterday, and he had full confidence that Marcus Freeman is headed in the right direction and will ultimately get to the goal of winning a national championship when he gets his staff and the staff he wants together. That's something he mentioned yesterday. But the current staff that Marcus Freeman has, he talked about that staff and how they're starting to come together as spring football begins.
Side of the ball, and so really I just try to stay out of the way and let those guys meet, give them time to be together, and they've been together a lot and met a lot, and really you got to meet to get everybody on the same page, but a lot of that is that cohesion, is that the ability to view these guys as teammates, and it's been really good. I've been in there a little bit, and then we have our staff meetings to make sure everybody understands our culture, understands our expectations, and so it's not where it's a finished product, but it's definitely progressing to where we want to see it.
He's talking about the new staff coming in, getting implemented, or becoming cohesive with the staff that was already here. Look, Gino Gadugli just strikes me as one of those dudes that comes into the party and is like, I'm about to have a good time. Like, you can look at me crazy, or you can say what's up and come party with me, but this is how I'm rocking.
Yeah.
He has that energy. Either get on board or get left behind. So I don't see him having a problem at all. Like, I see him and Jared Parker and the rest of the offensive staff smooth. There's some questions that I think most Notre Dame fans have concerning the defensive side when it comes to linebacker play, Al Golden. When it comes to defensive line play, Al Washington. You feel good about the DBs, and there's still somewhat of a question mark concerning the safety play, even though you feel good about Ramon Henderson and Xavier Watts back there with DJ Brown in the cut. So, overall, you feel good about the staff overall, but it's fair to say there are some question marks to see how things develop in certain positions.
Yeah, there's some question marks, but I think from the glaring issues that we felt like we've had before, they're definitely being addressed in ways that you can feel good that, in a couple weeks it'll look like what we wanted to look like going into fall camp.
Josh Buffalo said Gino got his own comb over swag. Not the grease swag. That's funny. Look, let me tell you something, man. All in all, Notre Dame is a team that looks good on the hoof.
Yeah.
Or they look good coming off the bus. They do. They look good coming off the bus. Doesn't mean a thing once you kick the ball off on a Saturday. But it's a good start, first day of spring.
Yeah.
The elevation of the quarterback room is definitely apparent. It's definitely apparent. And let me tell you something, man. It's a possibility. If he has the same patience, Tyler Buckner could end up being Notre Dame's Stetson Bennett. If he has the same patience and waits it out, he can have back-to-back years next year and the year after that where he's that veteran leader at quarterback with a team around him that's been developed that's ready to go win a championship. So think about it. Next year, that dude will have 3 years under his belt. He's already playing with more confidence. He's throwing the ball much better. We'll see. We'll see. It's interesting that you talk about the quarterback play. Look, Gino Gadugli is expected to make a difference, and Marcus Freeman talked about what his impact has been early on.
The one added benefit for the quarterbacks is that you have a guy that is solely focused on you, as you said, but also can just focus on your mechanics, your tools, your decision making. Instead of looking at maybe the big picture, right? He can really focus on, did this quarterback make the right decision? And that's the one thing I know with having a quarterbacks coach. And Tommy did the same. I've been an offense coordinator can do the same thing. But I think when you take some of that responsibility off their plate, and it's just like, hey, coach the quarterbacks and see if they made the right decision instead of having to really coach everybody else or make sure everybody else did their job. I think it helps with the development of that position. I've been around Gino. I've been around Jared. I've been around, guys that have coordinated from the tight end position when Gino was the quarterback's coach. And so again, I knew what to expect. I spend time back there when we go team with the quarterbacks and kind of listen to, the decision making. And that's the biggest thing. Hey, did they make the right decision? Because there's so much that falls on that guy's plate that isn't really his fault. Right? I know he gets the praise and he gets the criticism, but my biggest thing is, are you making the right decision? Right? That's so important at that quarterback position.
I think he pretty much echoed the same thing you spoke about earlier, Left. Being able to coach the position instead of having to worry about everything else at a time when the quarterbacks need your attention during practice and during the week.
100%. And it comes down to helping the quarterback room or whoever the starter is be a better decision maker. And it's always good to have a collab with you and making better decisions, because you can't do it on your own, especially if you don't know the ins and outs of everything. So having a quarterback coach makes you a better decision maker, and a better decision maker makes you a better quarterback. And that's the polish that Tyler Buckner needs, and it's something that Sam Hartman can build off of to, help his team in those 3 games that he's expected to help us win.
Clemson, USC, and Ohio State.
That's right.
Those games you're talking about, Left?
The games we're talking about. We're not going to act. See, I don't like the whole, one game doesn't make a season. Yes, it does. When you play for Notre Dame, yes, one game makes a season.
Man, yo, that was so crazy yesterday when we talked to Howard Griffin from the Big Ten Network, and we asked Howard, man, how tough is it going to be for Ohio State to recover from literally being right on the precipice of being in the national championship game and just dropping the ball? He said, man, the Michigan loss is tougher because they built their entire season to get to that game. The entire offseason after losing to Michigan on the road was built towards beating Michigan at home. And they got hammered. Now they got a reprieve getting into the playoff, but getting over that Michigan hump, going back to Ann Arbor this year, with J.J. McCarthy and the crew they have coming back, that's tough. That's tough. Like a lot of people talk, I can see Ohio State losing 2-3 games this year.
Yeah.
I can see Ohio State easily losing 2 to 3 games this year.
And they played some of them games close last year with CJ.
Easily. I can see them losing to Notre Dame. I can see them losing to Penn State. Because Penn State is going to be much better, especially if Drew Aller pops the way most people think he's going to pop. With the running backs they have and the returning defense, even though that game will be in the horseshoe, I mean, Penn State has played Ohio State tough in Happy Valley and the horseshoe. So, man, I can easily see Ohio State stumbling, especially trying to break in a new quarterback.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for Ohio State because they don't have a de facto quarterback that they know, we got this guy. He just can flip, switch, and take us and get us out of any jam. And, we just need to provide him with the receivers, and he can make it happen. So now,
you talk about the frustration that our receivers felt last year. How frustrated do you think Abuka and Marvin Harrison Jr. might feel at the beginning of the year, not having the same balls thrown that they were used to the previous 2 seasons?
Yeah,
from CJ Stroud. That
it's going to be crazy because I think a lot of it is that, you're so used to having a generational quarterback that things that will be open, he might not even look your way.
Yeah.
He might not even take a chance on the throw because he's like, man, I can't make that throw cross field, back shoulder where you get your tippy toes in and get on ESPN the next day. Can't do that.
Yeah.
So it's just going to be a reality check for some receivers. You saw how Georgia and A.J. Mitchell responded. He was like, look, we ain't got no Stetson. We ain't got no quarterback. I don't care about no Carson Beck or no Brock Vandegrift. I'm out. Better go play with Arch.
He said I'm out, didn't he?
I'm out. I'm about to go play with Arch. You don't have to worry about no spring, hang around.
None of that.
So I am gone for the money, playing with Arch Manning, then go to the league after. I mean, that's smart. I mean, it's a guy that knows what he wants.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, heck, Burton the year before chose Bryce over playing with Stetson.
Right after the game.
Right off the won a championship. It was like, yo, I'm going to play with Bryce Young.
I walked into Alabama's locker room after the game. Be like, y'all be all right. We good. I'm on y'all side, bro, for real. I just need to get a ring.
Yo, Marcus Freeman also was asked about Chris Tyree being moved and changing numbers. He's wearing number 2 now, left, instead of 25, as he moves to the wide receivers, or he works with the wide receivers. Marcus Freeman talked about that and their desire to get the ball to one of their best playmakers.
It's to be determined. I think he's a guy that has multiple skill sets, and we know Chris Tyree is a guy we have to have on the football field. And, you know, the ability to put him out some wide out. And we know what he can do as a running back and to really be a guy that can do multiple different things. You're seeing more of that in college football and the NFL. Guys that can play multiple different skill positions on offense. So do you treat him as a running back? Do you treat him as a wide out? And that's what we got to be able to do and gain confidence with the quarterbacks and in him as a wide receiver. But he's shown the skill set to be a wide receiver at this level. And, you know, we think we can use him as in multiple different positions.
He might have those release packages left.
I mean, 2 looks better at receiver than that anything else. So, you know.
Dex wore 2 at running back, right? Dex. But Dex started out with 30-something, didn't he?
Yeah,
early on?
34. Crazy.
He started off with 34. 34 hasn't been a good number for running backs. That's like James Aldridge. Who else wore 34? Dex Early. Huh. Because Aldridge doesn't look like a 7 at running back.
No.
He looks like he should be wearing 30-something. Or maybe even 40-something, but Logan looks like a 22. But he's a 3. Because he started out with 22, now he's 3. That's interesting. Are you sold on Chris Tyree? Look, stop. Let me stop. You said it should have happened last year after Avery Davis got injured.
For sure.
Left, once again, the best prognosticator in the ND landscape. It is what it is.
I'm telling you, they got our guy Amir as a director of player development.
Yo, your boy.
That GM position.
No. First of all, Marcus Freeman threw water on that. Someone asked him about the GM position that Jack Swarbrick was talking about. And Marcus Freeman said, I don't know nothing about a GM position.
See, I don't trust none communications between Jack and Marcus Freeman.
But he did go on to say, we are hiring a director of player personnel.
Oh, they just got Amir.
You know. So he was like, I don't know what that GM stuff is.
He said, I don't need help recruiting.
I fell out laughing. I was like, okay, that's a nice little jab. That's a nice little jab, Marcus.
Yeah.
That's a nice little jab.
He said, I don't know what he's talking about. Yeah. That's how you do it. That's how you play it out. He said, oh, yeah? Well, I ain't heard nothing. Now what? They're going to be jab.
Nice little low-key jab.
Yeah, we called it Marcus. He found a way to strike back. He said, I got to find a way to hit back. Y'all hit me.
Mel, thank you for the super chat. As always, who has the most to prove on the team? Is there someone who no one is really talking about, but who's a legitimate bona fide dude / stud?
Y'all making Burnham sound like the bona fide dude / stud.
I mean, I just said the young man had a quick first step. I didn't know he was going to turn into the Incredible Hulk. He was thin as it. Man, that dude was thin when I made that statement.
Yeah.
Now this dude is it. Man, he's in there competing with Jadarian Price the way his arms were looking today.
Jeez, and that man built for weights. Some dudes just be built for weights. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, yeah, you was meant to eat weights for breakfast, you know.
See, I wasn't built for weights, bro.
And that's a real thing.
I had this discussion with my people at church this weekend. Like, I hated weightlifting.
Yeah.
Hated it.
It's not everybody look good buff.
Dude.
Not everybody looks good buff.
I already have naturally big shoulders.
That's right.
So if I lift, I'm gonna have this.
Yeah, it's like you're just gonna be like Bobby Lashley or something, just looking crazy. Like, no.
So yeah, I just never really got into it, man. I will say this. You know, the funny thing is, let me tell you something, man. I promise you. I'm not trying to crack, but it's just funny. When you see freshman defensive backs hitting the sled for the first time.
Oh man. Their legs get weak.
Look, I was like, okay, it'll get better. It'll get better.
Talk to Bayless.
It'll get better.
Get with Bayless after practice, because so you know when you a freshman, it ain't popping like the seniors that they be da 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 da, and then the freshmen get in there and hit that thing like
Dude. I was like, hey,
they trying.
Just go low. Just go low. Just go low.
But that's the difference, though. That pop, even for a good freshman, it's a grown man strength you develop in college football that you're not gonna see on the numbers where you're like, 6'1", 235. Yeah. But it's that shot. That initial, the freshmen just don't got the pop. They can run around and all that, but the physicality that it takes to be that guy, it's not many other freshmen that can get in there and do that.
That sled is about what? Represents about what? 200?
It's more than you think. I think it's a football one specific. Like there's sleds out there, and then there's this one. Some of them be heavy.
Man.
But Blake Fisher in there, that's why he first round.
Yeah, some of the freshmen, boy, they
hurting.
That sled technique, they'll get better. They'll get better. That was like that's like one of those freshman first moments. Like, dang. Yeah, it's different. It's different.
I'm glad I came to school early.
Good. The high school sleds, they weren't like this.
Oh no,
it's a different level of sled. But overall, I mean, good first practice from the limited viewing that we got. You love what you see. We believe in the talent, specifically in the sophomore class and the junior class. Jordan Botello has just put it together. Has all the tools, put it together. John the Baptist was out there. I like him. He was leading the defensive linemen in drills. As a transfer. So that, and you saw him over in the corner
as a transfer?
Yeah. He was leading the defensive line drills.
Yeah, he got that Ohio State in him,
Yeah.
We appreciate that.
Foskey was in the building. Support.
Jump in, get some of the work. Some
other current players got up early to come over and support. Foskey was talking it up with John the Baptist. So we'll see, man. The defensive line and the way they put it together with what I think is going to be a more talented linebacker crew, that's going to be the telltale. Do they create a disruptive front seven because they will be on the smaller side? Or do you have some of the sophomores like a Tyson Ford, a junior like Jason Onyé, Devin Houston, who won't be participating in the spring because of a shoulder, along with freshman Adon Schuler. So they'll be in the fall. But I expect Devin Houston to play. He came in at 282 as a freshman. I think he can give you some reps.
282 is not bad.
Yeah. Riley Mills. So, dude, Aiden Gabira, Gabriel Rubio, they have talent on the interior of that defensive line. We just have to see. We have to see. Right? Because they have Jalen Sneed, they can come off the edge, Botello, Josh Burnham, John the Baptist. You got Nana coming back, Maris Leofow, Junior Tuilamaka. Look, you have all these guys that will be coming off the edge, right? Because I fully expect Maris to primarily be situational from a defensive standpoint, right? And Clarence Lewis is still working with the defensive backs, so that makes the defensive backs even deeper. So we'll see. We'll see. Lucky Lefty podcast. Let me make sure I remember. Is there any other news? Oh, the rest of the number changes. Chris Tyree is number 2. Jalen Sneed went from 17 to 3. Tobias went from 15 to 5. Jaden Mickey went from 21 to 7. Jadarian Price went from 20 to 24. And I mentioned this earlier. Tyson Ford went from 98 to 95. So, yeah. I can tell you one more thing. That dude, Ty Chan, is a big dude at offensive line. I know he's going to be battling for one of those interior positions. That's a big dude. They got some big dudes on that offensive line, bro. They have some big dudes. Lucky Lefty podcast. Great show. Appreciate you guys for tapping in with us. CFB Nation in conjunction with Irish Breakdown. All of our great content. Don't forget, each and every Sunday, 9 a.m., we drop the best of Lucky Lefty with our interviews and best conversations from the past year. Don't forget that each Sunday at 9 a.m., CFB Nation in conjunction with Irish Breakdown. You know what time it is, Left.
Petticoat. Petticoat Junction.
It's time to get petty.
Oh, we did a good job executing.
Are you upset with something?
And fire up the Petticoat Junction train.
I just don't like you.
You don't?
No.
What is today's pettiest story? Petty Junction.
Petty Junction, petty stories of the day, brought to you by Onora Whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com, that premium American whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. Hey, man. Yo, let me be petty for a second. People are trying to turn this last at bat between Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout into like the greatest at bat of all time. Y'all gotta relax, man. I mean, it's just two teammates, man. That's all. Just two teammates. One got the best of the other one.
That's it.
I mean, it was a drama-filled game late. Nothing much came of it. It is what it is. Other than that, just kind of let it go, Left. Because they really, man, I'm talking about it's leading off news all over the place. Oh, my God. What this did for baseball. Like, what it did for baseball? Like, what are we talking about right now?
Nothing like that, huh?
Like, what did it do for baseball? I'm confused. What did it do for baseball, man? By the way, Left, I told you we went to the studio after we did the show yesterday.
Yeah. Send me some.
We got us one.
Oh, it's a banger?
It's not even. Wait a minute. Hold on. I'm about to send it to you now, Left. I'm about to send it to you now.
Yeah.
I'm about to send it to you now. And this is not even finished. We're going back in the lab today.
Master and mix it.
Yeah, we're going back in the lab today to strengthen it. We kicked out 2 yesterday. We're gonna knock out 3 today.
Oh, y'all really putting in that time now.
What? Man, just go ahead and listen to the beginning of it. I just sent it to you.
Okay, I'm gonna listen.
I just sent it to you.
I'm gonna listen right here.
I'm telling you.
Okay, what's it called? You sent it on text, right?
Sent it on text.
I just got it.
Now we just play a snippet.
Now, wait, hold on. Who producing the beat?
She did. She does do. She writes, produces her own stuff, mixes her own stuff. We keep it all in house, bro.
Yeah. This is Lucky Lefty Records right here. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Look, see, you can't play it too much because Chloe and Haley will try to steal it.
Right. We don't need that. But hold on. Go ahead and steal it. Go ahead and steal it because it's already under Red Fox Productions already.
There you go.
It's already controlled by Red Fox Productions.
Records, man.
That's right. Red Fox on the track. Red Fox on the track. That's so she.
I'm about to ride a little slower in the car when I got this on, man.
Oh, we do. So
cruise a little slower in the car now.
I might need your help, Left, because we got to add some bars to it. We're looking for a female rapper to add to it.
Okay. Look, I got a couple of female friends. What you want a vibe on it, or what you want some bars? You want some what are we talking here?
She said somebody. She was like, man, I want such and so on it. She was like, they're cold. I'm like, okay. She was like, yeah, she signed to Warner. I said, Warner Brothers? I said, no, that's too rich.
Look, she said, this is a classic. It's a hit, man. This ain't no
I said, now,
SoundCloud rap.
I said, if you can link it up, through relationship, by all means.
She in LA. I mean,
I said, but if you walk into that Warner building, they're gonna be asking for a check.
Yeah,
for that feature.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah, they want to check for that feature.
You gonna forget you was in there for music. All the things they're gonna have you run through.
Man, look, yesterday was a proud papa moment, bro. Proud from I'm talking about piano lessons at 3, singing lessons, band equipment, buying her electric guitar, buying her keyboards, buying her MPC. That what you heard, that's the first beat she ever did on her MPC when I got it for her. Wow. So man, that's a huge. Yesterday was a huge papa moment.
See, you put enough stuff around her, she gonna figure it out.
Hey, Left, I'm just saying, you got papa moments coming yourself, bro.
I'm excited.
That's papa moments coming. Not man, money can't buy that. Not that moment yesterday.
And you just sitting back like, yeah, go ahead, do your thing, girl.
Dude. Like I gave her like maybe 1 or 2 tips. We did a 3-hour session. I maybe said something to her twice.
Yeah, you like, I don't want to disturb the creative process too much.
That's it. That's it. Because she knows what she wants.
Yeah, like it's hard with music. You gotta, you only know what you want to hear.
As the creative, she knows what she wants to do. She's doing it independent, along with going and getting that degree and grinding. And man, came up here, auditioned for a couple of shows. that are going to be up here, theater shows during the summer in Chicago. Hey, man, I'm a proud papa, boy.
That's right.
Now I feel like the rent check means something, bro.
The money was spent, well invested.
You know what that rent check looks like out there in LA, bro. You know what it looks like.
That's why you doing 3 or 4 or 5 different things. You gotta get it. You gotta get a show in. Gotta be on the production. Gotta get a song. Got an EP. Gotta play at the live little thing on Thursday. You know what I'm saying?
Got to
do everything so you can make it feel worth it. You know, the more you don't spend in the house, the more the rent feels good paying it.
I think she'll be singing the national anthem for the LA Sparks at one of their games this year.
Ooh, and they get turnout now. People go to the Sparks games.
People, man, not only for people out there that are watching, for your kids, man. Don't ever discourage their dreams, man. Ever invest and push them towards their dreams as much as you can, man. As much as you can. That's all I did. I promise you that's all I did. And to have that moment yesterday and to know it's like copyrighted and everything and that the business is taken care of, you know, now she wants to do a video. I gotta do a listening party, a release party in LA and Chicago. I'm seeing now you're doing too much.
Yeah, she said, I'm going on tour, Dad.
Right.
This one song, we going on tour. What we waiting on?
She want that Glorilla effect, right?
Yeah, she want that Krishan Rock Gorilla, you know, one hit, get to performing quick.
Get to the bag.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Coach Carl Reed joins us tomorrow. We're going to discuss draft. Michael Mayer right now sits around 13 average, most mock drafts. We'll get his feedback also on litigation going on in D.C. with the new president of the NCAA and how that's going to impact NIL and some other things that are happening around college football. And then we'll be back Thursday night. Thursday will be an evening show because the pro day is 9 to 1 in South Bend. I'll be at the pro day and I'll hightail it back. We'll have an evening show on Friday, and then Saturday, if luck is up to it, once practice is over Saturday, we can do a show at 11 o'clock on Saturday. If left is up to it. So, practice 1 in the books, Notre Dame fans. If you didn't get enough, Ryan Roberts and Brian Driscoll, and Shaun Stiers was there as well. They'll have the practice report from Irish Breakdown coming up in 30 minutes. For Left, I'm Sean Davis. We bid you adieu until tomorrow. Have a great Wednesday, but most of all, you got to make sure that you spend it different.